Can't judge a book by its cover, but I will be predicting covers before they even exist. Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle. Today, we're going to be stealing. Today, I'm going to be going through and predicting what I think some of the covers of my most anticipated releases are going to look like. This is not an idea that I came up with. I'm actually very much stealing this idea from Kayla over at Books Lala, who very regularly predicts the book covers of upcoming releases. However, one, I'm not going to wait until the book cover is actually revealed because I'm not that patient. So we're not going to know if I'm right. At this current juncture, we'll have to return to this video when these covers are revealed to see how close I am. And two, Kayla normally waits until she has a title, or often waits until she has a title. None of these books have titles, but all of them are books in authors who I imagine who will be publishing more soon, or series that we know are continuing. The first cover I'm going to predict is for my girl, Miss Emily Henry. I love Emily Henry so much. Like, if you see me saying a bad word about Emily Henry, call someone, because I've been body snatched. I love her. And I think her next book is going to lean a little bit more rom-com. I think she has a tendency, after one of her more, like, women's fiction leaning books, to kind of swing back the other direction. We saw it with, like, Beach Read to People We Meet on Vacation. We saw it with Happy Place into Funny Story. I think since Great Big Beautiful Life is a little less rom-com than her typical work, she's going to swing to something a little rom-com heavier for this next one. And my prediction is that she's going to move out of the summer season that we've seen all of her books in before and head to the winter. My prediction, and a book that I've been predicting actually a couple times for Emily, I think we're due to see a winter book, and I think it's going to be called Snow Day. I love her 2-word titles. I think they're so fun, and I think Snow Day would be one that, like, captures kind of a similar kind of a vacation-y vibe. Like, there's a sense of, like, fun in a snow day because you don't have to go to school, right, if you're a kid. And I think it's going to be a second chance romance about these two people who go up to the mountains, to their childhood town, some sort of Hallmarky premise. They rekindle their love over the course of maybe a snow day, or they get snowed in somewhere and they have to, they have time. That is what I'm thinking. I think it's going to be Snow Day. Originally, I was thinking this cover would be green because she hasn't actually done a green cover yet, and green would work, like, fairly well if we're thinking about a Christmas type book, but I don't think she's going to lean too hard Christmas. I think it's going to be more winter, and so I actually later wound up switching it to a blue. I know she has 2 books that are already kind of in this blue category, but I think she'll have a third. I picked this blue kind of based off of The Towel and Beach Read. All of her books, like, fairly well fit together, and I think we would see another blue if she went wintry. So that's my prediction. We've got 2 people on a sledding down from the trees, and of course we have snowflakes. We haven't heard anything yet, but I'm feeling good about it. I feel like this is a reasonable prediction. I think we're gonna stick with the 2 people cartoon cover. I mean, I guess Happy Place had more than 2, but I think we'll be back to 2. A couple other details to, like, let us know the vibes. So that's my Emily Henry prediction for Snow Day. Next, let's talk about Miss Sarah J. Maas and ACOTAR 6. First thing I felt very confident about when I was trying to predict this cover is the color. I feel pretty confident, like maybe the most confident out of any decision on this, that it's going to be purple. I just, like, feel in my bones it's going to be purple. I think Elaine has kind of, like, a purple connection. Like, purple and Elaine makes sense to me. Purple is not a color we have seen from her covers yet, but it does seem to go well. Because we have red, orange, all the titles are in yellow. We have green, blue. It has to be purple, right? It has to be purple. And I think it's going to be more of, like, a lavender-ish purple that'll kind of, like, tonally fit with everything else, but be far enough from the pink of Wings and Ruin to stand out. I also think for terms of a title, I wanted something that kind of emulated A Court of Silver Flames, Nesta's book, because this should be Elaine's book from everything I've heard. And I wanted something that kind of tapped into what we know about Elaine. So Elaine is a gardener. I think her title is going to, for sure, have flowers. If we think back to the dresser drawer we got from Sarah, from, like, A Court of Thorns and Roses, Feyre's dresser that she painted, Nesta's had flames on it, Elaine's had roses and violets on it. I don't think we'll do anything with roses. That would be surprising to me because we got roses obviously in the title of the first book. I think we'll get more generically just about flowers, because violets also I don't think fits in here very well. And then I think it'll be something like These Vicious Blooms, or A Court of Vicious Blooms. I think there's going to be something with a little bit of teeth. I think Elaine's story is going to paint a very different picture of Elaine than what we've seen. I feel like we actually know very little about Elaine. Even before Silver Flames, we knew more about Nesta than we did about Elaine. Nesta and Feyre had a lot more interactions, engaged with each other a lot more regularly, and Feyre thought about Nesta a lot more than she really thought about Elaine. Elaine was just like their like pretty docile sister that they had to like keep chillin', who really loved gardening, you know? So I'm excited to see Elaine's story. I think it's going to be sadder than we might anticipate because I think Elaine's journey has been sadder. I'm hoping our girl gets some teeth, and I'm going to be calling this A Court of Vicious Blooms. And of course, the like black sketchy thing that goes like behind the title, I think is going to be flowers of some capacity. And so that's what I'm predicting for the 6th ACOTAR book. Who does Elaine gonna end up with? Well, I don't know. I don't honestly have strong opinions either way. And next up, we have Ali Hazelwood. Okay, we're starting to get into, this one was like a shot in the dark. I think I was thinking that we could lean more on her like love on the brain, love hypothesis, love theoretically sort of vibes, but I think we've kind of moved from there. I don't think we're going to see more from her again. I think we're leaning more into this broader romance category. I did not put her young adult books or her fantasy romances. I'm predicting her next contemporary here. And I do think we will continue to see these themes of women in like academia, women in STEM fields, because I think this is something that is like personally important to Ali Hazelwood. And so I think we'll see something. I thought I played with the idea of like the love code or something like that, but I actually think she did an audiobook exclusive that was like a coding video game person. And I can't remember the name of that, but I felt like it was too close. So instead I said, you know what would be a title that only Miss Ali Hazelwood could do? One that kind of maybe leaned a little bit more towards a problematic summer romance, her latest release. And I thought the only person who could pull this off, and who would probably pull it off like quite well, would be Miss Ali Hazelwood. And I think her next book could be titled Enemies to Lovers, the like trope name. And I think that's like a bold move, but I think Ali could do it. I think she really leans into this like tropier, soapier side of romance. And I think an Enemies to Lovers book would work really well. I think our next book this upcoming book, I think we'll also see, because she will be written it like this year, I would imagine. I think we'll also see conversation around the current political administration and how the current political administration has cut a lot of funding. I think we could have like a You Got Mail sort of retelling in which we have like maybe like a lobbyist and then someone who works for the government and their funding has been cut and there's like tensions there. I know we already kind of had that like sort of vibe with Love on the Brain, but I like wouldn't be mad to see it again. You know what I mean? Like, you could do it again, Ali. I won't even be mad. That's my vibe. And then classic cartoon cover, Ali Hazelwood. 2 people, cartoons, boy and girl. Enemies to Lovers, we're back to back, we're glaring, but one's looking over their shoulder. We've got vague science happening in the background. I don't know what their jobs are. I'm not in science. Ali is. That's her job. She's going to teach us about forestry or molecular biology or something. And we're going to be smarter for it. We're going to be smarter and happier. Thanks, Ali. Okay, next one I'm really excited about. This one was one that I was kind of the most excited for because I think Jessa Hastings does her covers so uniquely. We really see this focus on the art of the cover. I think for most authors, they're especially traditional publishing authors, but even indie publishers or even indie authors who have more say over their cover, your cover really is packaging. Like, it is marketing first. And of course, like, you want it to reflect the interior of your book. You want it to have a sense of art and relatability there, but like mostly it is marketing material. And I think covers kind of sometimes fall on that spectrum. Like, you really want it to kind of hit the sweet spot between like being beautiful and like very and like engaging with your book in an artful way, but also like well advertising this book. Like, it is like a little billboard for your book. And I think Jessa Hastings really falls on the art side. Like, before I read her books, I was a little bit put off by the covers because they're so deeply layered with symbols that you only come to understand once you read the inside. Like, the covers are beautiful. I love them so much. I have the original covers. I bought them from England. You can't buy them in the US anymore because her US publisher went the marketing route and like made new covers. And I like bought the newest book from Blackwell's and had it shipped from England because I am like now addicted to these covers. I think they're great, but I understand why they aren't great marketing, because I think they are hard to discern what the heck is happening until you've read the books, and then you're like, oh my gosh, these are so beautifully layered with symbols. Daisies tend to be a little less layered than Magnolias. I say that, and we can see like the first cover is like literally a smorgasbord of stuff, but the second cover is like a little bit tamer. And I think one of the things that I love the most about Daisy and Daisy's covers is this one integration of florals. Both covers have this floral integration. I wanted to pull that in, but also this idea of like art being really important to the Hates family and Daisy in general. And so I pulled in some Dutch still lifes of flowers and made that kind of like the backdrop of this book cover. And then I had to kind of think about what the title could be. And for Daisy, we know Daisy 3 is going to be a darker book. A lot of stuff happened at the end of Daisy 2 that has put Daisy and Julian in kind of like a tricky situation. So I played with the idea of doing something with like Labyrinth or Spiral or something like that, where they're like kind of like swirling deeper and deeper. But I really love, my favorite part of the Daisy Hates books is the discussion of religion, and particularly the conversations around like redemption and forgiveness and like what it means to be good. And so I wanted to like lean into that. And so I've decided that for my prediction for Daisy Hates 3, it's going to be called Daisy Hates the Fall of Man, which is obviously a reference to like the Garden of Eden and the fall in that context, but also I think a reference to Daisy and how the men in her life are constantly failing her. I think that is really fun. And then of course I had to add a little bit more. Like there's always a little bit, there's layers to a Jessa Hastings cover. And so I had to add one of the most important symbols in the Daisy Hates universe, and that is a washing machine. Daisy Hates loves doing laundry because for her it represents normalcy. It represents like what a normal person would do in a normal life, and it also has always been like a safe place for her. The laundry room would be where her parents would, her father, mostly her mother, her father would put her in the laundry room, and Julian would put her in the laundry room and put coins in the machine, so it would be loud in there so she wouldn't hear kind of the bad things that were happening in the main room. It's been somewhere that keeps her safe, and so I wanted to put a washing machine on here, and then I had the flowers falling out of it because that was pretty, mostly. That's my prediction for Daisy Hates 3. I think the actual cover will be brighter. This is like a little bit dim in terms of coloring. But you know, again, not a graphic designer. But I do think this could work. And then next we had Lucy Foley. Lucy Foley, I love her books because I feel like there is no other thriller author that really encapsulates place so well in their thrillers. Like place is always such a character in Lucy Foley's novels. And so really I was asking myself like where would I want this novel to take place. I think Lucy Foley has like a very like signature cover style, and so I wanted to emulate that and also think about like where I would set her next book. And so I decided obviously I wanted the next book to take place at Oxford because I'm obsessed with Oxford. I think it's so fun. I think it's such an interesting location, but I wanted it to be like a little different. She almost always does like this location that a bunch of wealthy people are there for like a short period. So I wanted it to be Lucy Foley the summer holiday. And this like group of people are in Oxford during the summer holiday for some reason. Maybe an academic conference. Maybe they're at a reunion of some capacity. I don't know. But I slapped a black and white picture of the Radcliffe camera behind some writing. But I do like this color. I do feel like this color is like potential. This like teal blue. I also thought it'd be kind of fun if it was like a Wimbledon one. Like the final match. Or the final match. Because I guess game, I don't think in England they call like games matches, you know, like I think they call them matches. So like the final match, and it's like a tennis one, challengers on the brain, you know. I thought that would be fun too, but I didn't make that one, so you'll just have to live with that. Okay, and then the last one is me just like purely guessing, literally based on vibes alone, and that is the next Fourth Wing book, which we know Rebecca Yarros has started. Maybe hasn't started. No, I don't think she started it yet. It'll be a long time before we get it. And I think it's going to be red. I do feel like fairly strongly that it's going to be a red cover. Is it the last book in the series or do we have one more? I think we have one more. I think it's 5 books. My camera stopped recording, so we are now using my laptop computer. I hope you do not mind. And one, the cover is like pretty formulaic. The title seems like fairly formulaic, but also two, this gave me like nothing to go off of, you know, because it has very little to do with the actual contents of the book in some capacity. Like I couldn't tell you why the second book is called Iron Flame. I guess we do know at some point. They tell us it is like an important thing later in the book, I think. Right. If you've read it, let me know. But like, I don't know what's going to be important, but they do seem to have this quality, particularly the last two. Fourth Wing doesn't, but like Iron Flame and Onyx Storm have like metal, iron, and then like item. And so I was like, what if we did like a crimson something or like bronze something? I played with a lot of title ideas. Crimson, bronze. I thought about doing cobalt, but that the blue feels too like discongruous with everything else. I'm pretty sure my predictive feeling is that the cover is going to be red. I think it's going to be a similar vibe, but it's going to be redder. So you'll see here on the side, I've made the cover like quite red. But then from there, like the title truly could be like anything. I don't even remember what I wound up making like the final title on here. Crimson Smoke. Yeah, we played with the idea of like crimson and cobalt and bronze, and then the idea of like ruins and smoke and spark and flame and crown and war. It could really be anything. I like feel the least confident about this one, although I like do feel pretty passionately about the red color. I think the next one's gonna be red. That is my prediction. And again, I'm not patient like Kayla. When Kayla makes these videos, she waits until the covers are like revealed and then she sees how close she got. We could maybe do a follow-up at some point when all the covers are revealed, but we might just check in as we go. This was mostly just like a fun activity for me to do while I watched The Summer I Turned Pretty. I made these covers and now I'm telling you about them because they were fun. And hopefully I got some things right. I think I maybe got some colors right. I'm like keeping my fingers crossed for a winter Emily Henry. I think Ali Hazelwood writing a book called Enemies to Lovers would be delicious and delightful. And I just want Daisy Hates 3 eventually. Like, I'm just hoping and praying we get Daisy Hates 3. We will eventually. I believe in Jessa. I think that is all I have for you. Hope you enjoyed this very like random video. I had a lot of fun making it. If you see any of these covers and they look anything like mine, please tag me in them. I will certainly report back if I like guess them accurately. I will see you in the next video. Bye.